Are you ready?
Seconds left. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts
right here, right
This
now.
is a message to all the haters out there. If you don't like what I do, but you watch everything I'm doing, you're still a fan.
Last night's show sold a lot of merch. Forbes list caught me, so it's hard to make the dollar hurt. Philly keep the heater just in case we have a boo-boo. Kansas City natives and we are a little cuckoo.
Who said anything about skiing?
On the interstate doing 180.
Floating is all I wanna do.
Took a double shot and then we all went crazy.
What's going on, everybody? This is your main man, Smooth Baron, and you're tuned in to Hog HQ. Woo! Pig Sue! Wee! Go Hogs!
All right, look. Welcome back to another episode of Hog HQ Live, brought to you by the Hog Talk Podcast. This is episode 65, and as always, you know the motto, tell a friend that we are back again with another episode. Please like, subscribe, and share. Hit their YouTube page. Let people know that we on. If you're interested in this type of content that we deliver on Sunday nights at 8:05. Well, tonight was like 8:10.
Yeah, back to our old ways.
But I digress. You know what I'm saying? That happens. All right, look, guys. Before I get into it, you know I got to do it. So this gentleman right here, this is Adam, and this gentleman right here, this is Mr. Hart, aka Mr. Sports Almanac, and I'm your host DP, and we are in here tonight getting ready to do a little show. You know what's on the screen. You know we're gonna talk about it, but first we got to tap into it. Shout out to Transplant Texan, always in here first. Thank you for chopping it up with us this evening and joining us tonight. Let's get straight into it with this baseball series versus Vandy. Once again, a clean sweep by Dave Van Horn and the boys. It's interesting to watch what's going on because now we have to transition our energy towards baseball. I have no idea what Mr. Hart is laughing at this point, but yeah. And Adam has a new sound, so I just can't wait till one of us do something and he just hits us with the new sound he got. This is what happened when Adams get bored. So going into Arkansas go ahead and took care of business versus Vandy. Once again, taking care of another series, a series sweep versus Vanderbilt. Morgan. Hello, Morgan. Thank you for joining us this evening. Taking care of Vandy. Taking care of all the good business. Once again, another series sweep. So sweet. So sweet. And the bats keep coming. The bats keep coming. We keep talking about pitching with Arkansas, but once again, it's another scenario where the bats are ringing and they coming early. So we love that. We love that about it. As I always say every week when it comes to baseball, this is a marathon, not a sprint. So at some point when we can equal the pitching to the batting, that's when we put it all together, and that's when it gets spectacular. Guys, go ahead and tap into us and let us know what's going on with Vanderbilt and Arkansas with another series sweep, guys.
Well, first, let's pay him Bill.
Let's do that.
Bet Online is the world's most trusted betting platform and your #1 source for betting on all the madness. Even if your bracket is busted, Bet Online has more ways to stay in on the action with a free Sweet 16 bracket and live betting on every remaining tournament game. With the largest selection of odds on everything from college basketball to MLB, NHL, and MMA, Bet Online continues to be your #1 sports betting source. From every Cinderella story to every hat trick, Bet Online has you covered with odds, stats, and more for every game, every play, and every win. Bet Online, the game starts here.
Shout out to Bet Online for any online gaming or betting apps. That's where you go take care of business. But before we get into the show, we get to Vandy and the Arkansas baseball series. Let me tell you something real quick. I don't know what it's like in Arkansas. I know you guys talked about the weather. The storms are coming through. It's raining pollen here. It's raining pollen. I've never had sinuses or allergies or anything. But when I found out it was a record high, it was like almost 15,000. And I want to know who exactly is in charge of counting pollen. I would really love to understand that. How can you get a direct number for how much pollen is falling? But either way it go, it got all in my system, so I'm a little congested this week. Y'all might have to excuse me if I pull an Otis Kirk this week, trying to clear my sinuses. But I digress. We'll get straight into it, guys. Let's go ahead and jump. You had to do it, didn't you? So
Yep.
That's my son downstairs with his mom, and they playing on. Yeah, that's what it is.
You know.
Mr. Reese, what's up, Mr. Reese? How about them Hogs? The team wants to win. No quitting this team. Absolutely, Mr. Reese. Definitely. It's good. It's good that we can transition into another sport where you see the team is already doing well. Always gives the fans some hope just to get towards another championship. That's what we're looking for. You play to win the game, as Coach Herm Edwards said, and that's what it seems like Dave Van Horn and the boys are putting together and make it happen. Now, let's go ahead and tap into this Arkansas and Vandy series sweep. Go ahead, Adam.
What is this? 2 in a row? I think we haven't lost since game 1 Ole Miss.
Correct.
In the SEC. It dropped the midweek game to Missouri State, which I know some of y'all are wanting to fire Dave Van Horn after that. But like we say time and time again, these midweek games don't hold that much weight, if at all. We're in the win your series time of year, so it doesn't really matter.
Right.
Haven't swept Vandy since 2005. You know, it's one of those that there's been games where our pitching struggles in the beginning, you know, giving up 3 runs in the first, 5 runs in the first. And then the bats come alive to essentially bail them out, to at least give the pitchers some sort of cushion. And that's been the saving grace, I feel like, a lot of the season. 65 home runs, I believe, was what Ty told me on the last show in the comments. So maybe he'll be chiming in here in the comments at some point. But it's, you know, we're ready to get Gage Wood back in the pitching rotation whenever that does happen. Closers are doing their thing when they come in. This is, like we said before the season, we've said during the season, this is probably one of the most well-rounded teams that Dave Van Horn has had.
Yeah. And it's interesting, before I get to you, Mr. Hart, talk about the first shutout against Vanderbilt since 2005, but it's the first shutout win versus the Commanders in Nashville since 94. You got to think about how dominant they have been. At some point, they had a nickname called the Vandy Boys. And I don't know if you've seen the March Madness where Florida had the Gator Boys hats on. Yeah. We'll have to steal that to come up with something. I don't know. I have no idea what that was. All right.
Someone hit the
Mr.
fruit.
Hart, go ahead and chime in what you feel about the series sweep versus Vandy.
Well, it's great. Like Adam was saying, we lost our first game. We've won 8 since in the SEC. I saw a stat today where they said in the SEC, so it's 9 games, we've had 12 innings where we scored 3 runs or more. So are we still want to get rid of Nate Thompson? I'm going to keep asking. We had a shutout, like Adam said. That was our first series win in Nashville since 2017.
2005.
No, well, I'm sorry.
Or
That was
sweep.
his sweep.
Oh, sweet. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was a real good win. Cam Coastal got some revenge on his old team, had 3 home runs this weekend. Of course, Zach Root had to shut out doing his thing. He may be one of the best pitchers in baseball right now. Then yesterday we went into extra innings and won the ball playing small ball, which we asked for last year, and we're getting it with a more complete lineup this year. And then today they battled back and took the lead in the top of the 8th, scored 5 runs, and Ben Bobby shut them down this afternoon when he got in. So it's just a complete team. It really is, and they're continuing to show it. And hopefully, they can maybe not drop some midweek games, especially this Tuesday, since I'm going to be at it. But you don't have the full lineup when you play in the midweek. But good win, keep the momentum going.
Absolutely. So you brought up something. I know Adam brought it up a couple weeks ago. It's been no talks of gorilla ball thus far. And then Hart, you talk about we won playing small ball. Is it accurate that some fans may owe the batting coach an apology at this particular point?
Could be.
He's not going to get it. So
yeah, But it's a completely different lineup. So if you're going to hate on him last year, you got to give him credit this year for recruiting the bat. So he's got to come in.
Correct. So maybe he did hear all the griping. Maybe he did hear it. Who knows? Either way, like I said, Dave Van Horn and the guys are putting together. It's interesting to watch this team come to life every single week in the series in the SEC. Like I said, I watched Georgia play the other day. I was flipping channels, and I caught Georgia playing. Georgia got them bats, but I know, Adam, you came up with a graphic that talked about some particular hits.
Yeah,
I found
this on Twitter. I forget who posted it, but stole it. So most runs scored through 28 games, and you can see, 3 out of the 4 are this season. Yep. Avalon's had multi-run home run games. Aloy's becoming one of the best shortstops in college baseball. He's left and right on ESPN, Sports Center, SEC, all the highlight reels that are going around. So, it's high hopes heading in as the season goes along.
Awesome. I think we may have, and I don't know who it is just yet. We may have a Golden Glove candidate on this team. If we don't, and all of a sudden it's a whole complete team effort to get us deep into Omaha, I'm for that as well. But I think we may have somebody special on this team. It just seems like everybody's buying into it. We talk about this in basketball. Once a team comes alive and the chemistry is so evident when you watch them play, it's because everybody has bought into their role. And it looked like so far in baseball, guys have already owned their roles. They're not playing selfish. They're playing selfless. If they don't start a particular week, as far as pitching or something of that nature, then all of a sudden they find a way to make a contribution when they do get a chance to get in the game. So that's really great to see from Dave Van Horn and the boys. Hopefully we can continue this trend. What's the next SEC game? I know we got
Missouri this weekend in Fayetteville.
Fayetteville. The weather should be nice in Fayetteville by that time.
You never know. It could change in 10 minutes.
It is Arkansas weather. You just never know. It's crazy. Move from Arkansas to Georgia. It's the same weather. You just never know. All right. Check this out. Anything you want to add to baseball before we continue?
Hold on.
Turn the corner.
That was a surprise.
Surprise, mother.
We'll get to that. I don't know if y'all saw that earlier.
We'll get into that. But before we get into that, let's go ahead and get an ad. Sponsor ad. A word from.
Let's take a quick time out and talk about something just as important as Arkansas basketball. Your home. Our friends over at Premium Supply are like the MVPs of home improvement. They've got everything you need to make your house a slam dunk. We're talking siding, soffit, columns, windows, doors, vents, decking, the whole playbook. Whether you're building from the ground up or just doing a little home court maintenance, they've got you covered. And with locations in Conway, North Little Rock, Russellville, and Jonesboro, there's always a premium supply close enough for a fast break. So if you're looking for premium products with premium customer service, make your next shot count and visit www.premiumsupplyllc.com. Use promo code HOGHQ for a 5% discount on your next purchase. Premium Supply, where we treat each of our customers like one of the family.
And remember, with a premium supply, there you go. Thank you, sir. Mention Hog HQ at your purchase to make sure you get that discount. Let them know you heard it from here first. So we appreciate Premium Supply for putting on and being a sponsor for us. All right, let's go ahead and tap into this basketball and this March Madness. A lot is to be said, and we'll get to Arkansas at some point, but we'll talk about some of these other games first. Just talk about it. So at this point, we see the Final Four. Auburn came and took care of business as they've been doing all year long. Florida, let me get to Duke. Let me get to Duke in Alabama. Yeah. Duke in Alabama. It's amazing that Alabama was that hot, especially from three the game before. And then all of a sudden they played Duke and they're well coached. Like I said, Cooper Flagg is that guy. I don't know if him or Broome from Auburn will be the player of the year. But either way, and I think Flagg will be the number one player in the draft, unless it's a foreign player that comes over. But Duke took care of business. I did not have them going this far in my bracket. And Houston took care. The way Houston took care of Tennessee, and I looked at the halftime score, I was like, maybe my phone hasn't updated. But no, they locked those guys down on defense and shut Tennessee out. It still feels good to have two SEC teams in the Final Four. I wish they were on opposite sides of the bracket, but it just also shows the dominance of the conference at the end of the day. So shout out to them. But that Florida-Texas Tech game, I almost want to thank Florida. I almost want to thank Florida because this is a situation where I don't know if you heard this term before, but when you pull a U on you, it just hit different. But they did exactly what they did. They had the comeback win. Texas Tech was up. They was hot in the first half. Florida finds a way. And there's so many guys. Like I said, there's so many guys on that squad. Their bench is deep. They have a lot of length. A lot of guys play great defense. They're on the glass. They share the ball very well. They found a way to come back and put Texas Tech in place. I think it's Dorian Williams, number 5, the guy who was lighting us up. So I think they made the adjustment, and they said we want 2 guys on him at all times. At that point, somebody had to come alive. The point guard was just dealing the ball. He wasn't actually trying to score as much. I know their number 1 player that was absent when they played us, number 0, McMillan, I think that was his name. He was in the game. He was able to get some shots off the perimeter and then drive to the rack and then go to the free throw line. But it was some exciting games to watch at the end of the day, except that Tennessee-Houston game. Houston just handled them boys. So it'll be interesting. I think the 4 best teams are in the Final Four. And I think it'll be some great matchups going forward. What are your thoughts on the Final Four as we saw it?
I mean, obviously, I was polling for an all-SEC Final Four just to completely shut all the other conferences up.
Yeah.
But it happens. I mean, Alabama basically shot their load the game before with all the threes, so couldn't hit anything. I didn't expect Duke to look as good as they've looked.
Right.
Because they've been a team that even though they've been, I think only lost 4 games this year, maybe I think it was 4 games. They've still struggled at times. So they're turning it on when you need to turn it on. I agree with you. I think Cooper Flagg is the number 1 pick. I know that was the general consensus kind of even coming into this season that he was your number 1 pick. And he never shied away from it. He's proven why he is. I mean, even if he's not scoring 20, 25, he's facilitating. He's still changing. He's making the other team still playing around him. So it's your next number 1 pick. If you have any of his cards, you might as well hang on to them, get them graded. They'll be worth a lot of money in the coming months. I think when the draft is in June. Didn't expect to see Houston do what they did. I kind of was waiting for Houston to slip up, but kudos to Kelvin Sampson And then Auburn. Auburn did what they're supposed to do. I didn't expect Michigan State to be in this game. They really, I mean, quite frankly, I don't feel like were until towards the end. That's more just based on the score, not the actual game itself.
Mm-hmm.
And then Florida and Texas Tech. Texas Tech, early on, they hit the threes that they weren't hitting against Arkansas. Florida proved why I think that they're going to win the national title. They struggled. Texas Tech pulled in Arkansas.
Yeah.
Texas Tech had the lead, and Florida found a way to come back and win the game. That guard of theirs, I can't think of his last name, number 25, 28, something like light-skinned guy. He's the one that
Florida?
hit the three. Clayton.
Yeah, Walter Clayton Jr.
Where did he transfer from? Like Valdosta State or some?
Not Iowa.
Iona?
Some lower.
Iona. That's what he came.
Iona. Okay. That he got the ball in the paint, and Texas Tech collapsed on him, and then he just dribbles out. Nobody picks him up for a split second, drained a three.
Yeah, that's all it takes.
I mean, that's ice in his veins.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a guy that put everything on his shoulders. I felt like Florida did a good job of managing timeouts, managing rotations, knowing when to draw some. I mean, they just did the things that they needed to do to win the game. So nothing against Texas Tech. I'm glad y'all lost.
Yeah, for real. But I look at the Florida team, and I know I got Florida winning it all in the bracket.
Mm-hmm.
The fact of they have that much length, the fact that their coach took his time and cherry picked who he wanted from the portal. Once again, it was another player on the team who played on the same team with Nelly, the FAU team.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it was Nelly came, he went to Arkansas, another guy left the team, went to Michigan, and this guy went to Florida. Elijah, that was his name. But look, that guy showed that he was that guy. And it was an interesting conversation that was going on during that particular game about mid-major guys and the chip they have on their shoulder and their ability to feel like they can play in a bigger league. So that guy definitely did what he needed to do to show that he can play in a bigger league. These are the type of things, like I said, as much as sometimes people hate the portal, it's beneficial to some people, some teams, some players. And like I said, you have to use to your benefit if you have it at your disposal to get quality players. So that was that. Let me ask you guys a question real quick. I know we all put in the bracket. Anybody bracket still alive?
I got all the Final Four.
Okay.
But I'm not going to win because I
Okay.
had Arkansas going to the Elite Eight.
Yeah.
No, I've already counted myself out. This is the first year that I didn't pick an all chalk bracket, and I should have, but it's what it is. But whoever does win, there is I think there's one or two tied for first. We've got a $50 gift card to Rally House, which has multiple locations, multiple schools, multiple teams online. It's in several cities. I'm trying to pull up the group. Here we go. So yeah, we've got somebody that their group bracket name is Iowa Hog. They are in first. So we will see. And then we've got a second, and we've got two tied for third. Matt is tied for fifth.
That's what's up.
And me and DP are down the list.
Yeah. See, this is what I found out. It don't matter what tournament setup we do. It seems that Mr. Hart is always somewhere in the running. We did the hog pick'em. It came down to the Super Bowl between you two.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then this
belt. Yeah,
you got
my room.
Right. Oh, excuse me. Yeah. So either way it goes, it sounds like you own the name Mr. Sports Almanac. So kudos to you for making those great picks. All right, what you got? What else you got looking at besides the Final Four, or what you got left on the Final Four?
I do got one thing. Did y'all see Cooper Flag try to dunk and get stuffed?
Nelson? Yeah,
Nelson stuffed, and that was pretty nice.
And wasn't Nelson the guy that was decided between Alabama and Arkansas?
Yes, Grant Nelson.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Hart.
Yeah, and then the only other thing I really had something to say was the Florida game. It was just nice seeing them get a little bit bittersweet revenge for us, in somewhat of a similar fashion than how we lost it. But other than that, I think it's going to be an interesting Final Four. I didn't expect Houston to be as dominant as they were, and Auburn's kind of done pretty much what they've done all year.
Yeah, I think Houston's mantra is the toughest team wins.
Mhm.
When I tell you they just bullies on the court in regards to playing defense, so it'll be interesting to see how they match up against Duke. Duke is very smart. They got a lot of players with a lot of high basketball IQ, so you can't just go and just double team Cooper Flag and think it's going to be over with. So it'll be interesting to see how this matchup really works. To see who if they're playing physical, if they're going to allow them to play physical. See what they're going to be on the perimeter. See who can get those big shots on the perimeter to keep the game in motion. So that'll be interesting to see exactly what happens. What else you got besides Final Four, sir? We're gonna go ahead and get into this Arkansas. Or you got something else for me before I get to
Oh, it's just, this is just for S's and G's. I was going to see if y'all had seen the T-Wolves and Pistons fight just a little while ago.
Missed it. What's up, Ross? I ain't seen you in a minute.
5 players were ejected, including, one that was almost at Arkansas, Ron Holland, and then 2 coaches. So we'll play. Yeah, I'm going to put it just like this so we can still talk over it, and so maybe they don't boot us off of YouTube or whatever. So
Fouled by Holland.
Well,
let me start at the beginning.
Holland is a really good high school player. Good fake. Reed turned the
Nas
corner.
Reed.
Fouled by Holland.
I like Dante.
oh,
I don't know if I'd mess with Nas Reed.
Yeah. I like White Dante.
Big time brawl now in the front row. It's going to take a lot to break this up.
It's given. And this is Detroit.
Yeah, Detroit and Minnesota. Malice at the Palace.
It's given Malice at the Palace, for sure.
This has been building on the last handful of possessions.
wow.
Glad I didn't put them all parlay. It's the fade. You see the fade he got? Kelsey fade. Auctions beat the Bucks.
Nas Reed had taken exception to Holland and was wagging a finger in his face. This crowd who braved the cold and the snow on his feet applauding the intensity. The Timberwolves finally showing some fight.
Holland's coming off the bench, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
And the officials are going to have a lot to look at as you look at
I like Dante.
DiVincenzo and Villanova.
Yep. He was on the Knicks.
They need to send him back to New York so he can be with his Villanova teammates.
There you go.
JB Bickerstaff getting into it with Pablo Prigioni. I mean, this is ridiculous.
Oh, not a coach.
Yeah, it was a head.
You can't tell who is who. I don't think I've ever seen that before, Michael. I don't think I've ever seen a big melee like this.
I think you have.
Yeah, a worse one.
Yeah. All right, pop it back out. All right, look. So, do we want to get into this unsweet ending?
Oh, we might as well.
Might as well. We got to face the music. So, as you know, Arkansas loses to Texas Tech in the Sweet 16, and this continues their opportunity to go to the Elite Eight. In that particular game, I'm gonna be honest with you. I remember us in the group text that night, and I stayed up and watched. And once I think Nelly shot the 3 and we went up 16, I was like, all right, I'm good. I'm gonna go ahead and go to sleep. I just catch the score in the morning. And once I hit Instagram and didn't see us, the first thing on my page, or once I looked at group messages and didn't see, I was like, we must have lost. So to see how we lost, we went to overtime and lost. I still don't know how to put it into words. I will say this about the season overall. The money that was invested in Coach Calipari, we got our money's worth. Because if anybody who's watching can tell me that you saw Arkansas going this far in the tournament, I'll be shocked and appalled. I just didn't see it, especially after 0-5 start in SEC play. David, that is coming. Make sure you stay tuned for Hall News, sir. Definitely got that coming for you. But I didn't see those guys doing it, especially after 0-5 start. No matter who was injured, no matter who was on. So whether it was Boogie, whether it was Thero, it didn't really matter. I didn't see him going that far. But I'm proud of those guys. Like I said, it was a great nucleus. We will have some news towards the end in regards to who is already stating they're coming back. And we know about some of the recruits that are coming in. So we'll definitely tap into that. Stay tuned for that. Mr. Hart, you got some information or some thoughts on Arkansas season and how it ended?
Yeah, well, I mean, we kind of met the goal. If you'd asked most people before the season, we'd said Sweet 16 was kind of the standard we would expect, and we got there, even though it was an unconventional way by, like you're saying, going 0-5. But we did play the hardest teams, I would say, the best teams in the SEC in the beginning of the conference, so that could be part of it. As far as the game though, it was tough. I mean, I was in a similar situation when we went up 16. I started getting ready for bed, and I was just
Yeah,
gonna lay down and fall asleep. And as soon as I changed rooms, I felt like I had, I'd screwed up the juju, and
right.
everything started going downhill. But uh, the play that sold or that stuck out to me is when they had the six rebound offensive rebounds with what Frederico or whatever,
Hmm.
Mhm.
and hitting a three with it. I think that was the biggest turning point in the game. We were the bigger team, but we weren't necessarily the tougher team. Jonas Adu seemed to have gone a little bit MIA. He got stuffed his first two shots in the game. Brazil didn't do a whole lot. He got a couple of, dunks and layup, but he didn't rebound like he had been the last, several weeks in the season. And then you had to do his knee wasn't ready. And Boogie, he couldn't bring a whole lot to it. Jonas did everything he could. He asked for the ball, and we got to him a lot, but then we didn't seem to get it to him in the key moments of the game. Um, and the biggest thing I didn't like was DJ Wagner's shot after our offensive rebound late in the game, shooting it as soon as we got a fresh shot clock when, time was our best friend at that
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, that's a situation where you need to move the ball around, let everybody touch the ball, see who has an advantage on the matchup, and then make the best play possible for the team, as opposed to just taking advantage of that and doing what you want to do with that particular thing. As Jack said, yeah, super threes. We're not a 3 point shooting team. Sometimes we have spurts where we have guys who do it. I don't even did Big Z play? I
Mhm.
don't even
A little bit.
a little bit. Yeah,
He played 12 minutes, 0 for 1 field goals, which was a 3. That's not a shocker. 3 rebounds, 2 assists.
yeah. But like I said, I can't be mad. And Adam, I'm gonna get to you. I can't really be mad because I'm gonna be honest with you. When we seen the drawing of the teams and the seating, a lot of people talked about where we were seated and how unfair it was, comparable to other teams, aka North Carolina, those sneaking into it. But I look at it like this: I think a lot of people were worried that we would lose to Kansas initially. Once we beat Kansas the way we beat Kansas, then people started saying, "Wait a minute, I think these guys could go all the way, or they can go further than I thought they would." So it
Mhm.
was what it was. Adam, go ahead. What you got?
Oh, where to begin? I won't say that I got the cocky feeling in the second half. If anything, as you know, I in our group texts and otherwise, I note that just wait, the drought will come.
8 minutes, six. Yeah,
10 minutes, 8 minutes, whatever it was. I thought at the 17-minute mark we were hitting it
yeah,
super early, but having that lead, it dwindling down. We keep hearing about, or we kept hearing about the size differential, especially with the guards, with the size, all this size. And I'm just sitting here and I'm like, out rebounded 51 to 39, but we had so much size, which I know. And let's see what else we got. Offensive rebounds 22 to 11. Hell, they got 6 on one possession.
yep.
And I don't know. There's a lot of frustration with it. That, like Mr. Teresa said up here, people had already wrote off the basketball team to think you'd whatever, much less even get to the tournament. I think you'd be surprised. I get that sentiment completely. I know after the game, fans were frustrated. We all were sad, frustrated. I stayed off social media that night. Actually, probably till majority of the next day. I posted the graphics and I was done. I was just like, I'm just going to just stay off of it. And coming back to it, there was a lot of people that were mad, frustrated, and I think a lot of it's you get your hopes up. The team proved a lot of people wrong, ourselves included, based on how we started the season. They had already been written off. We weren't supposed to be there. We had other fan bases that were like, y'all are going to the NIT. Then it was, y'all are getting knocked out of the first round. Then it was, hey, we both got knocked out in the Sweet 16.
Bruce. BBL. BBL Nation. Gotcha.
So it sucks. But at this point, I mean, yeah, getting to the Final Four would have been like the next step or but outside of a national championship, there wasn't a whole lot more you could have done. So Cal's already said previously what he's got to change recruiting wise. And we're going to be seeing that soon. We'll get more to the portal here in a little bit. So it's one of those things that's frustrating. It sucks. The refs were better than they were the previous game, even though there still were some suspect calls. I didn't see the goaltend that I thought was a block, Brazil, when they said it went off the backboard first. I think there you get into a situation that, like football, you didn't have, or you say you don't have enough to overturn it, essentially. But every angle they showed on TV, I didn't see it hit the backboard first. Maybe y'all did. The announcers sure as hell did. I didn't. Yeah. So that is what it is. It was frustrating. The last 4 minutes, I think it was the last 4 minutes, why you have the idea to take 8 threes, I have no idea.
That's not going to get you back in the game.
No. You go into the threes.
Yeah, you go into the rack getting fouled, going to the free throw line. That slows the game down. That make coaches make adjustments. You can make fair substitutions if need be.
Shots early in the shot clock.
Yeah.
And that comes down to I put blame on the coaching staff, and I put blame on players and basketball IQs in a sense, because you've got to be aware of what your game clock is, what your point difference is. And just because you feel like, oh, I've got a shot, I've got to take it here. No, back the ball up, let the clock run down. I personally didn't agree with letting Wagner in overtime just run down the court and shoot. We had a timeout.
Right.
Get the ball past half court, call a timeout, 5-6 seconds left, have something drawn up. You've got Coach Cal, who has proven since, Boogie went out, like, he can coach. A lot of people said he couldn't. Well, he put stuff together.
Yeah.
So, and you've got one of the best X's and O's guys on the bench with your coaching. It's like you've got guys for these situations to draw something up. And I get you don't want Texas Tech to be able to set up and whatever, but I just don't think running on the fly was the best thing. And I know DJ has been great all season getting to the goal, but you pulled up. Well, John L had 30. So why the ball wasn't in his hands, I have no clue.
Right.
Plus, he's bigger than their guards, just like EJ Wagner is. So I don't know. I just didn't agree with the ending, but I didn't think that even if we had advanced, that we would have beaten Florida.
No.
So it is what it is. It sucks, but this is just year one.
Yep. So I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said year one. I think about Eric Musselman's tenure at Arkansas, and to take us to the tournament, to get Sweet 16, to go Elite Eight. Those are the things that you have to build on. Those are the things that top tier recruits see and want to come there. You got to understand that at one point, Arkansas was the Cinderella team of the tournament. We were the team that was not supposed to be there and was still playing phenomenal basketball. So you got to give Coach Cal some credit and his guys for what they did and why they were there. You talk about the decisions that were made at the end of the game. 2 out of your 3 guards, one is a freshman, one is a sophomore. The other one is the one that had all the points. As you stated, why he didn't have the ball in his hand? Why the play wasn't drawn up for him to get the ball? I'm not sure. but I think a lot of that comes down to experience. A lot of that comes down to experience, in-game experience. And like I said, seeing that his team had made it deep in the tournament for Nelly, you would think he would be the guy with the ball in his hand to make those type of choices. But it was what it was. Let me get this comment real quick. We can continue. Transplant Texas says, self-inflicted wounds stopped the Hogs in the end. Disappointing in tournament loss. Satisfied at how deep the team went based on an 0-5 start. Injuries. I expect more next season. Yeah, can definitely dig that. David says the reason we had a hard finishing teams, hard time finishing teams this year, once we built a double-digit lead, is lack of rebounding and shot selection. I could agree with that. I could agree with that. You just talked about the rebounding numbers, so yeah, definitely. Did you get Miss Teresa? They got away from what? Yeah, got them a 16-point lead. Yep, going to the rim. Then start throwing up bricks next year.
They couldn't stop Carter Knox.
Nope.
No.
I mean,
nope.
He was having his way, whether it was driving and pulling up, getting to the rim, getting to the foul line, whatever. I mean, Carter Knox year 2 is going to be a force to be reckoned with in the SEC. Hint, hint.
I was just gonna say, boy, you just dropped some sauce real quick. All right. High basketball IQ does not shoot desperation 3-point shots when your team is in the lead by double digits. Absolutely. S-Jack, the game should have never gone to overtime. Facts.
Yeah.
Nobody has said that out loud, but I'm glad you did. Had the team taking care of business and regulation. The timeout, not taking it at the end of OT, is mute. I can dig it. Knew when OT happened, it was over. You know, we get to a point as fans where we say Arkansas going Arkansas. And I think when they got to overtime, it was like, why are we even here? We shouldn't even be at this point. Pressure's on Cal now. If you can get to Sweet 16 with this team and the injuries, fans would expect Sweet 16 to bust next season, no less. Use the chicken man money to reboot stronger and better. I'm not mad at that statement.
I think the pressure is always on John Calipari.
Facts.
No matter who, what, when, where, why, what season, year 1, 2, 10, whatever. Now, I will say, I mean, we kind of got in the same little stint with Eric Musselman that it was, you know, Elite 8, Elite 8, Sweet 16. You know, it's one of those, then the Sweet 16 kind of seemed like a failure.
Right.
Yeah, it wasn't as much. So I do agree with that, you know, we've reached this. So it's only more. We got to pile more on. And that's, you know, just kind of the greedy side of it. But in reality, yes, you want this same or better results year after year. Unfortunately, it's not always going to be that way, but that's what I fully expect. Because I expect, you know, on top of the recruiting class that we have, the portal class, I expect to be kind of tenfold what it was of this season's.
Gotcha. And I think once we get into this portal information, a lot of the things that you guys discuss as deficiencies within the team are the things that are going to be opportunities that's going to be addressed initially. You talk about going somewhere far and then repeat next year. It just made me think about the 8-win football season. But I digress.
Is that with or without a bowl game?
It don't even damn matter. No, I'm just saying the time when Pippen did get to 8 wins, I was like, with the bowl game. I was like, maybe we'll come back now. All right. David said, I think it was huge for the program to show that they can still win after last year with Muss and then Coach Cal coming in this year. Yeah, no doubt about it. I think Coach Cal definitely did what he needed to do. I was hard on Coach Cal initially because I was like, it wasn't even the 0-5 start. I was like, I don't even know if he's damn coaching. That was my issue. But like I said, he put it together when it mattered the most with what he had. To be able to build different rosters throughout the year because of injuries, he found a way to make it happen. So I can dig it. Would you rather have sophomore Carter Knox?
Or Nate Ament?
Yeah.
I'd rather have a sophomore Carter Knox.
He got a chip on his shoulder now.
He's got a chip on his shoulder. We've already seen what he has done as a freshman. There's unknown of any freshman that steps on the NCAA court.
Yeah.
So I think we already know what the next step for Carter Knox is. And Nate Ament, I mean, we're not going to know till we see him in uniform somewhere.
You remember a guy by the name of Nick Smith Jr.?
Yeah. Yeah, I still keep up with the Hornets, to see how he's doing.
Yeah.
Here and there, I'll post, when he has 26 or 19 or 8 threes or whatever, just to see the salty comments.
So, S. Jack, just pump your brakes. Yeah. Who else we have? Anthony Black. Yeah, these are top. Yeah.
They played each other this week.
Yeah, 5-star guys. Top 10 class. Top
but then there's
class.
also 5 stars that they get to a college campus and they don't know what to do with their hands. Exactly.
All right. Boom. Sophomore Carter Knox, hands down, proven. Yeah. In SEC play, absolutely. And like I say, everybody understands. We talked about the Final Four and the Elite Eight. The SEC was a gauntlet this year, and we SEC as a conference showed the world that SEC is the most dominant conference in basketball. Now we're talking about dominant in basketball. Now that's what we are. It just means more. So, with that being said, we'll put a bow on the unsweet ending. Like I said, kudos to the team for doing what they did. They went further than a lot of us thought they would do. With that being said, we got to tap into this Hog News. This is what some of you guys have been waiting for. But what? Go ahead, Adam.
I just want to preface this first before I hit the video. Appreciate everybody in here right now watching. For those that are in Hog HQ, I don't know if you're watching in there or on Hog Talk, on Twitter, on YouTube, whatever. When you see somebody ask in the comments or post in Hog HQ about the transfer portal, about the Hog News, or whatever was talked about during the show, just tell them to, hey, skip to the 46-minute mark of last night's episode.
There you go.
You can watch. Don't give them any information.
Yeah, because somebody will ask in the group tomorrow, hey, what about the portal? Yeah.
So, with that being said,
hey, it's time for some Hog News.
All right. Well, it's basketball portal time. And so the first one I'm going to name, I'll drop the names and Adam and TP and them can give you the bios on them. The first one I have is Lamar Wilkerson.
Lamar. He's a senior at Sam Houston. 6'5", 205 guard. He led Conference USA in scoring, 20.5 points per game, 4 rebounds per game, 2.1 assists, 47% or almost 48% field goal, 45% three-point shooter, 82% free throw shooter. I have on good faith that we will see him in Fayetteville. So whether you want to call it silent, whether you want to call it, don't call it official because anything can happen. But I would about 95% sure that we will see him in an Arkansas uniform next season.
Gotcha.
All right. The next one I have is Magoon Guath. I may be butchering the name, but
I think you did well, though.
Yeah, better than I could do. Freshman out of San Diego State, 7 foot, 205 center. 8.5 points, 5 rebounds, almost 3 blocks, 51% field goals, only 63% free throws, but that's not uncommon for 7-footers, and 38% three-point shooter. But hey, we don't need you to shoot threes.
We don't.
Get rebounds. The next one we have is Michael Rataj.
So Michael is a junior currently at Oregon State. 6'9", 220, 16.9 points per game, 7.2 on the rebounds, 2 flat on the assists, and 1.6 on the steals, which means he seems like a well-rounded player. 48.4% on field goal percentage and 78.8 on the free throw. 48.4 from field goal, all right, and then 78. Basically, I'm rounding up to 80% for the free throw line. 31.1 from 3. 35. We don't need you to shoot threes. 35.1. We don't need them to shoot them.
Yeah. The next one I have is Nate Ament, and the reason why I have him brought back up is when I was talking to my guy, he said basically, he summed it up this way. He said, national media is thinking he's going to go elsewhere, but the staff seems to be pretty confident they have a legit shot with getting Nate Ament. So,
which April 1st, 2 days. Tuesday.
Yep, exactly right.
But why?
And
Why? That's the day that he's going to commit.
He's committing on April Fool's Day.
See, that's a joke in itself. Why are you doing that? But go ahead.
last one I have right now is Kayshawn Hall.
The
Not
junior
my
from UCF. Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. 6'7", 235. Guard slash forward. 18.8 points per game. 7.1 on the rebounds. 2.4 on the assists. 42.7 from field goal, and 35.4 from three. 86.1, which is great from the free throw line, which is what we need.
Yeah.
And there will be more to come. Not everybody's on this list we're going to land. We've seen how that happened last season. I would say that there's also one to watch out for, and we heard his name in Arkansas recruiting last season. And it's, I can't pronounce his name either. Santo, he went to Georgia. He was 4-star center from Overtime Elite.
Okay, gotcha.
I kind of expect him to possibly, if he's not already in the portal, to be hitting the portal.
Say that name again. I know you.
Santo Cyril,
Okay.
Cyrilsomto.
I'm thinking about the guy who was on
Arizona State.
No. The guy was on Montvert team with Cooper Flag.
Liam McNeely at UConn.
No, he was sweet though. And he hit that last little three and walked off and said, "We lost." Yes, he said he's gonna put his name in the hat for the draft.
But there will be more names that come up. So whether we have more next Sunday, whether it happens through the week, we'll have posts or something, because you never know. I mean, things could be kind of quiet. So maybe we don't have a show every week. Who knows? We don't even know.
Yeah, we don't know.
Fans dictate when we have shows.
Great question here. I know you about to go knock out what you had. I will go ahead and come back to you transparent.
Actually, I'll touch on this one, and then I'll touch on my next one, because I know I've said this since actually March 9th, because we can go back to previous shows. So yeah, March 9th is what I'm about to repeat. So, but right now, we do expect assistant coach Bruiser Flint to leave to go to Miami to join Jai Lucas's staff. Jai Lucas was at Duke, assistant coach, so it's not unexpected. This has been rumbling for, I think, the last few weeks, because I think we've all heard about it a couple weeks ago. Right. But now that the season's over, it's kind of coming to fruition. Hopefully I have an idea of I'm not going to say replacement, but an addition to the staff.
Joe Johnson.
No, but we'll keep that for a later time. But going back to the March 9th episode, I wish I had a video of it. But March 9th we put out, and we still know this being true. Somebody keeps texting me, Alabama garbage. So when was this? Hold on. Y'all can talk while I'm finding it. I wasn't prepared.
Gotcha. Hart, let me ask you this. Bring the Ashtown kid home.
That's Lamar Wilkerson at Sam Houston. He's from Arkansas.
Gotcha.
So this was prior to the tournament. This was 3 weeks ago to the day. We knew that obviously Nelly and Adu were gone. Don't have any more eligibility. Also, with that, hiring agents, Boogie Flan would be hiring an agent also. Testing the draft waters for grades, not hiring an agent. Now, all this could change tomorrow. But as of 3 weeks ago, and kind of what we still have heard, Big Z and Thero are testing the draft waters, but they're not hiring agents. So with a chance to come back. I think actually while I'm on that, they put out today, Kevin McPherson spoke with an NBA scout Saturday about Arkansas's 2 most likely players to declare for the draft. Blah, blah, blah. So he thought that Boogie was in the 25 to 40 range, which is late first, early second round. And Thero was 40 to 60, which is early to late second round. I think with the early you run a risk in that second round of not getting drafted, or you can come back to college and make more money than you can make in the G League or on a two-way. I think on the two-ways are about 500,000. He's going to get more than that here.
Right.
So I don't personally see him going, but whatever. We've already seen Carter Knox put on his, I think, IG story that he was running it back. He was back, whatever. He was one we were told that he would be back, that Billy Richmond would be back. And at the time, DJ Wagner would be back. Who knows what DJ Wagner's going to do? I thought he had a pretty good showing in the tournament. So he could use that and a combine to go ahead and move on. I don't know. If anything, these guys, and the last one, Brazil was still undecided at the time because he's only a junior, so he still has another year. None of this is set in stone. But you got to think, too, is how many of these guys that are undecided on the fence, did this leave a bad taste in their mouth the way the season ended, or they've gotten the taste of the NCAA tournament, the Sweet 16, and they want more?
Right.
So they've got to kind of weigh that. And I think that'll come into play for some of them. But your freshmen, when I say freshmen, Billy Richmond, Carter Knox, they're Razorbacks. These guys are committed to Coach Cal, committed to playing here. I don't see these guys hopping in the portal to go anywhere. We saw one of the practice players, if you will, Chavis, that was the Washington sign. He was a freshman. He entered the portal today. So I think you'll see those 5 guys go. But at the same time, I don't see any of the main unit, the main rotation entering the portal to go somewhere else.
Yeah. I think it'll be interesting to see Billy Richmond in year 2. When he was able to get on the floor, what he was able to bring defensively, just the spark of energy that he brings to the court, how he energizes his teammates. So I definitely would like to see him back. Carter Knox getting bigger, stronger, and faster is dangerous. Mama, you see Adam playing. I already put it on there when he was reading. He just wanted to do it. It's just Adam being Adam. But yeah, as far as Brazil being concerned, if he really believes in his heart of hearts that he's going to put everything into it to become the player that we used to see, I would love to see it. If he can stay injury free, if he can pick up more weight, if he can get back his athleticism and his bounce, and honestly, the part that he needs to add to his game is handling the damn ball. You can't stand on the perimeter, sir, and just hold the guy from getting to your guy and then just hand the ball off. Like, you're useless in that. That's why you don't get minutes. You got to be able to dribble the ball, create your own shot. So yes, you can get in the corner, and yes, you can get a corner 3. Yes, you can do that. Yes, if you're somewhere near the elbow, you can get the ball, dribble, then throw it up. But if you on the perimeter and you can't dribble that ball and lose a defender around the perimeter and make it to the rack and go to the free throw line, that's the part of the game that he's missing. That's going to make it an effective player going to the next level. So, Big Z brother, ever hit the portal?
No.
I know it was some rumbles about that.
There's rumblings about it. There's rumblings on a handful of bigs. Some are already in the portal, some aren't. So
we definitely need some bigs, some athletic bigs at that. Not just guys who just stand there, or guys who shoot threes.
And it's one of those things too. If you're 7'2", it's a long ways down to dribble the ball, so you don't have to. It's just my 2 cents on that. Big Z,
gotcha.
Looking at you.
Gotcha.
You are not. What's his name? Wemby. You don't have handles like that.
Right. No, you don't. Nowhere. No. Kevin Durant. None of that. All right. And I think Big Z just needs to take him somewhere. He got to get tough, and that's just what it is. He got to drink a lot of protein shakes over the summer.
Take him back to his. I mean, this is all freaking Jokic talks about is European. Like, the fan, look at this, look at this. I mean, I know go put him in that environment for 6 months and then come back.
Yeah, because one thing I can give European players, they are well-rounded. They can handle the ball no matter the size. They can shoot All those things. Like I said, they got a nice bag of offensive skill sets. See, I know you tried to get me, but I'm swift. I do want to get his comment. Billy Richmond and his motor. He will need to find those other gears in off season. The lack of gears appears to lead to his unforced errors. Yeah, not mad at that.
I think he's got to learn some ball control because when he goes 90 miles an hour, and sometimes I just think sometimes he's got to slow it down mentally a little bit.
Reminds me of Devo.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like when he's on the court, like I know he's about to lock somebody down. I know he's about to give everything he's got. So at the same time, I don't hate on him for that.
What do you see as the role for Big Z if he can't develop an adequate defensive game and doesn't come consistent offensively? If not, then he will be a tall cheerleader on the bench.
Well, I mean, we've seen that Cal's not going to shy away from sitting him. And you're about to rotate in, and I say you're about to add in potentially 5 to 6. And when I say that, I'm talking about compared to numbers this year. You're about to go from 8 to 9 guys in a rotation to 11, 12, 13 guys in a rotation. So Cal's not going to get into that problem that he got into this season with, oh shit, I've only got 7 guys.
Right.
So it's going to be a balancing act, but if you're having games where you're just going over and you're out there and you are shooting, you go over 6 from 3, guess what? You're going to sit.
You get on the bench.
Yeah.
Justin, I know you said you late to the game, but when I just tell you that you read my mind, yeah, you got to go to the hood. He got to get tough, or you can go to Europe. Either way it go, he got to develop his game. You can't be 7'2" and getting out rebounded by dudes at 6'6". It's
just take him over to Memphis.
Hell no. Same thing what Justin said. Similar, close proximity though.
Oh, that's not South Central, Lower Arkansas.
I see what you did there. All right.
Louisiana.
Yeah. Last little wrap up before we get up out of here, guys. Mr. Hart, any last comments? Anything we missing? Adam, you also said something about transfer portal girls team. So
it wasn't on the girls. I mean, you're going to see some come and go with the new coach, but I was just bringing up because we all know, Talia Scott transferred from Arkansas to Auburn last year. And now she's transferring from Auburn to Baylor. So step up, you find your heart. But here we are again, it's kind of what was it now? It was Mike Neighbors before. It was whatever in Auburn. So like, what's the reason now?
What Van Leff?
Van Leaf or whatever.
Yeah, she went. I forgot where she came from. She went to LSU. Then she transferred to TCU. I think she's in the Final Four right now.
Haley Van Leff.
Yeah, it can happen. All right, Hart, go ahead with your wrap up. Whatever you got. Anything we need to know about?
Well, just if you're on YouTube, make sure you sign up and join Hog HQ on Facebook to get the information during the week, and vice versa. If you're on Facebook, make sure you sign up to YouTube and subscribe. As DP says, it's free 99. And don't forget to go to premiumsidingllc.com or their Facebook page and get that 5% discount. Give your house some TLC.
We need to put in time with Kenny Payne. He's supposed to be a big man whisperer. Great point.
Carl Anthony Towns and I'd say go send him with Anthony Davis, but he'd get hurt. So
yeah, if you go with Carl Anthony Towns, he might come back with like
Zesty.
If he goes with Cat, he's really going to be coming back and just shooting nothing but threes.
Got you. Miss Teresa. He is wonderful. Certain nights I don't sleep, but it's okay. As long as he's good, I'm happy. I had my first it was a long day at work. Work was horrible. And I came home and seen him. I was like, don't even matter. So that was my first little moment. I heard a lot of my friends talk about that experience. And I was like, I had my first one. So like I said, he made everything better. He's growing. Hey, giving my wife a hard time. We're gonna work on it. Son, I know you watching. Get it together now. Oh, but Mr. Reese, I'm loving the experience. He's growing every day. Feel like he changes every day. He learns something new. He's growling like a dinosaur right now. I don't know what that means. I think he's upset when he
How
does
can
that.
you give us an example?
I can't. See, this is the time where you try to get me to say something silly and then you clip it, and then all of a sudden the show's been a group next week. I am not going to do that, sir. But yeah, Mr. Reese, I'm loving the experience. He's great. The wife is great. So we're doing great. Thanks for asking. My 2 cents. I'm thankful. I'm thankful for Coach Cal, Coach Van Horn, and what they've been able to do. Coach Pittman, I want to say that next year about you. I like you. I like you initially. You're the first name I called out when they said who should be the coach. I just want to see the ROI. I just want to see the return. That's all I want. I like some of the guys they spoke about. I seen we went small on the receiver end. I the offensive line, that's the biggest thing. And can Taylor Green in year 2 with Bobby Petrino, can they get it done? As we always say that he can do in the second year of his offense. So those are things I'm intrigued with in regards to football. I know we haven't talked about football on the show as much, but there are some rumblings with those guys having practices and scrimmages and things of that nature. And I look forward to seeing what the team can bring forward. I know we got is it Jordan Anthony who's balling in track and field? If he doesn't have a package, I don't understand what we're doing. I just don't. If he doesn't have a set of plays that is designed for him to get the ball, then I don't know what we're doing. But we also lost what's the other guy that had world-class speed? 21 miles. Yeah, 21 miles per hour. Yeah. So, and now he's going. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully these guys can make it happen going into football season. That's what I'm excited about. My sister on here too, but my family's showing love. Shout out to the fam, man. Thank y'all. Adam, go ahead with what you got, sir.
Oh, just a little stat that I got sent. Because I think this shows to the all around. We talk about the transfer portal. We talk about this. We've seen great games throughout this NCAA tournament. No, there weren't like major upsets, whatever. But these are stats that just came out. This tournament averaged 9.4 million viewers per game. Highest viewership since 1993.
Wow.
So I just think that shows like the level. And I think a lot of that is contributed to that is the SEC fan base.
Correct. Correct. So, some of the matchups of the coaches.
Yeah. And then the Arkansas-Kansas game I saw somewhere was 12 million, most watched first round game ever or something like that.
The primetime slot was 12 million. So that counted both, but they didn't, I don't think, differentiated like between the two.
Okay. But as Boogie Cousin said, that's the Coach Cal effect. Like I said, we got them. We happy to have them. It is what it is. Hey guys, don't forget, as Mr. Hart said, YouTube is free. You just press the button, subscribe, and then anytime that you know that we come on, it just says notify me, and then it lets you know. So you don't have to come on here late and then miss some stuff and go back and watch the replay. Either way it go, we appreciate you guys for joining us this particular week. Look forward to more news coming out in the transfer portal for the basketball team. We will be tapping into that. If you are in the group, please make sure you timed in. If anybody asks about the portal, what time frame can they start looking at, Adam?
46-minute mark.
That's when you look for the portal news. Somebody will ask in the next 2 days. Either way it go.
Well, Adam said.
Yeah.
Blame it on me. I don't give a shit.
There you go. Hey, with that being said, we're out of here, guys. We definitely appreciate you. And as my sister said at the bottom, share. We are out of here, guys. Thank you guys for joining us for another week. We gone.